Good afternoon, everyone. My topic is Scott Fitzgerald, the lyric sensibility and the American wasteland. These are my academic and presentation details. Table of contents. My research question is: how does the tension between heightened lyricism and Spenglerian pessimism in F. Scott Fitzgerald's over function as a critique of the American dream, and how does the imaginative possession of wealth reveal the moral decay of modern society? My hypothesis is Fitzgerald transcends the label of a regional jazz age laureate. By employing a deliberate nostalgic irony, his intense expressiveness serves to mask and subsequently expose the spiritual desolation of a materialistic society, establishing a trajectory of social doom that defines his entire literary career. Introduction. The trajectory of disenchantment. While early works documented youthful rebellion, Fitzgerald's mature fiction marks a profound shift toward a searching critique of American society. As it is said in the quote, it is what preyed on Gatsby, what foul dust floated in the wake of his dreams that temporarily closed out my interest in the abortive sorrows and short-winded elections of men. And also in The Tender is Night, the destructive, isolating power of health is the foundational theme of his career, stretching from the beautiful and damned to the psychological exhaustion of Tender is the Night. The lyric world, nostalgic irony. When we come to know about the parties of the Gatsby, we see that they are heightened and there is much glittering in the parties, but what lies behind them is their corrupted beauty. By mean of corruptible beauty, we can also refer to Daisy Buchanan. Fitzgerald's narrative genius is not strictly intellectual but lyric and personal. He does not critique American dream or anything in the novel through a very satirical tone, but in a lyric and personal tone. He transforms raw individual sentiment into a constitutive reality that defines a cultural epoch. His overreaching tone is inherently sentimentally cynical. A sophisticated narrative stance that acknowledges the corruptibility of beauty while simultaneously mourning the loss. He had lost himself. He could not tell the hour when, or day, or the week, the month, or the year. The Spenglerian decline. Fitzgerald's prose wasteland. Fitzgerald's overreaching vision structurally aligns with Eliot's The Wasteland, acting as a prose manifestation of modern world horror and disillusionment. If the wasteland portrays the entire wasteland in the modern era, if, Fitzgerald also presents this kind of things in his Valley of Ashes. His landscapes are not merely physical settings, but replicas of a society in terminal. This is a Valley of Ashes. We can compare this Valley of Ashes as the whole barren land, which is referred to in the Westland. This is a Valley of Ashes, a fantastic farm where ashes grow like wheat into ridges and hills, where ashes take the form of houses and chimneys and rising smoke. Imaginative possession, the corrupting charm of capital. Uh, the Great Gatsby repeatedly wants to go back to his previous dream of getting a Daisy, and this is a corrupting charm. A recurring motif in Fitzgerald's work is the inexhaustible corrupting charm of capital itself. Human lyricism and romantic desire are constantly transformed into a marketable commodity. As it is well said in the novel, the voice of Daisy Buchanan is full of money. He said suddenly, it was full of money. That was the inexhaustible charm that rose and fell in it, the jingle of it. Fitzgerald's protagonists represent an imaginative possession of American life, an extraordinary capacity for wonder tragically misdirected toward material accumulation. They are tragically misdirected towards the goal which is not to be acquired, such as the Great Gatsby going after Daisy Buchanan. The pathology of wealth, a cross textual synthesis. Fitzgerald systematically explored the destruction of the romantic individuals when brought into contact with established capital across his major works. Anthony Patch, who is the protagonist of his work, The Beautiful and Damned, destroyed by paralyzed waiting and anticipation of unearned inherited wealth. J. Gatsby, destroyed by the delusion that his imaginary possession, just as Daisy Buchanan, and raw ambition can buy access to a morally bankrupt, established elite. Gatsby wants to be included in the elite class, but ultimately he fails to do so. Dick Dever, Tender is the Night, destroyed by the psychological vampirism of the wealthy class, draining the professional and spiritual vitality to sustain their own careless experience. The dual agent epistemological instability. Apart from Nick Carraway, every character in The Great Gatsby is questionably morally corrupted. The subjective participant is Nick Carraway, but when we look objectively, the character of Nick Carraway is also corrupted to some extent. This duality successfully grounds his romantic impulses in profound moral revulsions. The aesthetic of decay. A bleak aesthetic contrast to the romantic flush of gaiety, a terminal dumping ground and physical cost of American industrial wealth. As we know, the value of ashes is the cost paid by the people like Martil who reside in the Valley of Ashes, and they are just the dumping grounds produced by the wealth of new and old money people. This is my conclusion. Fitzgerald's intense lyricism does not celebrate the American dream. Rather, it serves to heighten the tragedy of its inevitable Spenglerian decline. The tension between his aesthetic wonder and moral horror exposes how the imaginative possession of wealth leads strictly to spiritual bankruptcy. His Overy ultimately diagnoses a society that offers no mechanism for salvation, leaving humanity trapped in a cycle of futile pursuit. As we know, by the end of the novel, all the imaginative possession goes futile. Gatsby believed in the green light, which was his imaginative possession, the organic future that year by year recedes before us. So we beat on, both against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. These are my references. Thank you. If anyone has any question.
So my question is, how does Fitzgerald's imaginative possession of wealth ultimately leads to the spiritual bankruptcy of his protagonist?
One of the major example of his protagonist who goes morally bankrupt due to pursuit of wealth is J. Gatsby. J. Gatsby wants to earn money, not to just earn money, but he wants to earn money to take the possession of Daisy Buchanan, and that is where the spiritual bankruptcy lies. He does not want money to do anything, but this kind of spiritually desolated aims lead to his doom. Any other question?
Sagar, my question to you is, what is nostalgic irony, and how does this tone function to expose spiritual desolation?
Mainly, the nostalgic irony lies in the way F. Scott Fitzgerald critique the American dream or the American society in a particular or general. Uh, he does not criticize the society the way other writers does, such as the in the Westland, T.S. Eliot and Pope and Swift does in their satires, but he does satire in such a way that feels nostalgic. And on the surface, you think that this is a very good novel, and it is about glittering of the parties and the all kind of these imaginative and good things that are wealthy. Everyone is wealthy and these kind of things. but what lies beneath them is the spiritual desolation. And this kind of critique is done with the way Fitzgerald uses characters, story, plot, and language. His language is an ironical but a nostalgical ironic. He does not critique in such a harsh manner, such as Pop and Swift, but he criticizes society in a not a nostalgic irony. Thank you, everyone.